Well, welcome to Ag City, a little piece of heaven down Junction 10-7. I'm so excited today to be up here at Harrisonville, and we're looking at a virtual museum, the Atkinson Museum, coming down to our little tourism center and our visitors bureau. So we're here with the Atkinsons today, kind of getting just a little bit of history. We got the senior Atkinson who knows about everything that there is to know that he can remember. So we got to catch him before he forgets stuff. Is that right, Dale?
That's correct.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're here. This has been around for how long, Dale?
It's been in collection since 1937.
So your dad actually started the collection process, and man, what we've heard is it's all of it's within about 25 to 30 miles around, coming right from history right here in Cass County.
It's all local, within a 25-mile
Yeah,
radius. But it's just been over a number of years, and there's a lot of stuff in there that,
a lot of history.
yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of it.
And if I remember in some of our conversations, your dad was an avid steam guy. He loves steam. And one of the things we're going to talk a little bit about today, we have a steam guy coming that's going to talk a little bit about the steam engines that came up here.
He's got the history on some of these engines that is the only one that I know of
Right.
that has that.
And your family got started in the actually your family got started in the funeral business back in Archie many years ago.
1929.
1929, and you've in here somewhere. You've got the whatever they carry the bodies,
Cadaver
the
baskets.
cadaver baskets. So I mean, everything in this museum is just everything. I mean, all kinds of articles, everything that your dad and everybody collected, over the years, and it's here in this museum.
That's it.
So these are the young ladies. Do you want to introduce your beautiful daughters?
This is Laura Beth Gelati,
Yeah,
Holly Lane Christensen.
yeah. And so they're kind of the new caretakers of this museum, is my understanding.
They are.
Yeah. So this has kind of switched hands now, and these two ladies, they kind of run the show.
That's correct.
Okay. And so we got to be real nice to them. So if you got anything to share about the museum or any history you want to start with?
Uh, all stuff we grew up with.
Yeah.
I, it, we walk through and it's like, oh yeah, remember this and remember that. Stuff we grew up playing with.
Hmm. And a lot of that stuff is just old hat with you. I mean, all the things that's in here just is
Uh,
is everything. And I know that you mentioned or Dale mentioned this is the old hitching post out here that came from. Where did that come from?
Sheriff's office
The
in
sheriff's office
uptown.
uptown. And this is where they tied up their horses.
Yeah.
Holly and I tied our horses up there almost daily. We
So you
Here.
had horses?
yes,
yeah,
Okay.
and we would ride them from down the road there and hook them up to the hitching post and hang out at Grandma
welding
and Grandpa.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
then we'd go back to the
So
welding
you can
shop.
remember your grandma and grandpa.
Oh,
Yeah, real
yeah,
well.
every
this
day.
was home.
This
Yeah.
is where we spent every single day.
Wow.
Every
Well,
day.
we
Well,
grew up right there,
yeah.
and we had a path worn to Grandma and Grandpa's house. That
And so you hung out in the museum.
We
yeah,
played on the steam engines.
Mom and Dad
We'd
worked, and we
spend
hung
the
with
night.
Grandma and Grandpa.
Wow. Wow. What a legacy. Well, one of the nice things we're going to try to do while Dale and the family's together, we're going to try to capture as much of this information, and it'll be a virtual museum down in Ag City, our little Ag City tourism spot, or our visitor center. So when you come through and want to see a lot about the Action Museum, which has been here for 100 years, right at it, maybe a little over. So you can stop by, and it'll be up on TVs and everything that you can see. So we're going to be back in just a few minutes. We're going to go into the museum and start looking at some of the really cool things. And it's just the beginning of what you're going to be able to see. It's just a marvelous collection of Cass County stuff, from farms, from everything that you could ever imagine. It's in this museum. So we'll be right back. Well, we're back, and we got a really special guest here at the Action Museum, Bill Thurman. And Bill is one of the guys that knows a lot about, especially this steam engine that we have behind us. And Bill's going to kind of share a little bit of the history here in the Action Museum where the steam engine come and kind of how it got here and all about it. Right, Bill?
Yeah. Of course, it's a Frick. It was built in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. It's a 1915. It's a 9.5 by 10. That's the bore and cylinder size. That was the biggest single cylinder the Frick Company built. There's only 6 of them known to exist. At one time, I had the sisters of this one. I was 2 serial numbers off. So there was 2 of them within 20 miles of each other. But this engine was bought new in Gun City. It was delivered to Gun City, between Gun City and Eastland, mostly towards Gun City, and that's where it resided its entire life. During the summers, though, they would load it up on a flat car, and they would ship it to Kansas to help with the wheat harvest. Uh, it would just give and I have the guy's name that have it, but I'm getting old too. But I showed you guys a picture of when your dad and Haston St. Clair, I don't know if you remember him. He was a good friend of your dad's. They went over and looked at it. Haston was a Reeves man. He wouldn't have anything but Reeves steam engines. So he wasn't interested in all, and your dad bought it. And at one time, it's been so long, Larry had the original bill of sale, the original owner's manual, and I'm sure it's still here somewhere. And when they bought it, they brought it home. Of course, they fixed it all up, put the canopy and everything on it. And this had to be mid to late 50s, I think. So there was only basically 3 shows or exhibitors going on at that time, and that would have been McLouth, Kansas, the Agriculture Hall of Fame, and Platte County Steam and Gas. This was the first engine that started Platte County Steam and Gas.
Wow.
If you'll look at they took a picture of the charter members when they started it, and they was all around this engine.
So, Bill, let me ask you a question. I mean, you got a whole bunch of knowledge of history and all the things that went on. Where did you start getting all this knowledge? What caused you to think about steam engines and all the history?
1967. Veterans Day used to be a huge, huge deal in Harrisonville. You probably remember that. It had big Veterans Day parades. Of course, we had all the World War I veterans, World War II veterans, Korean veterans, even Vietnam veterans. And my dad was a veteran of World War II. So naturally, we went to the Veterans Day parade. I'd never seen a steam engine before, and he come puffing around this thing on the square. And I was all of 5 years old. And when I seen that thing, I just fell in love with it.
Wow.
It's the one right out here, the Rumley. And you can still, he had that thing painted up like a piece of work. It was an art piece. And there was another man up there by the name of Mr. Pemberton who had a little bitty scale model of the steam engine. He was working out of Harvey's at that time, I'm pretty sure. Pennington, that's right, Mr. Pennington.
And Harvey's was a local tractor dealership?
At that time, I thought it was a car dealership and a tractor dealership.
Okay.
I think it was Allison Buick or something.
It was Buick.
Yeah.
And Alice Chalmer, maybe.
And then they had
Yep.
Case.
And Case also.
Yeah, they was they had a lot. So when I seen that, I went home and tried to build one that day. And of course, it didn't turn out very good. But I got acquainted with Larry because one day my mom drove me by and took my picture. I wanted to get out and take my picture by one of the engines, and Larry came out and started visiting with me. And that's how I got acquainted with Larry.
And Larry is Dale's brother, right?
Yes.
And okay, so now, yeah, so him and you got to be kind of friends.
I love history, and Larry was full of it.
Mm-hmm.
He could tell you story after story and never tell you the same story twice.
Mm-hmm.
And they blew 2 flues out of the engine, which the flues are the long pipes. You can see them in there, long pipes that go through the boiler. Floyd blew 2 flues out of the engine at that parade, and he stuffed them up and blocked them up just enough so it wouldn't leak enough. And he got it limped down here, and he limped it where it's sitting right now, and that's where it's set ever since.
Well, there's 2.
He drove wedges in them.
Yeah, I knew he blocked wooden wedges.
I was swinging a hammer.
So you've got 2 more steam engines sitting outside the museum here.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and so one of those is the ones that limped in.
Yeah, the double cylinder Rumley out here, it's probably 19. I've never looked the serial number up on it, but I imagine it's 1913. It's before Rumley bought out Advance.
Right?
Um, it's a double cylinder, which makes any engineer look good because as soon as you open the throttle, it moves. Where on a single cylinder, you have two dead centers.
Mm,
And if you don't stop it right, it won't start. You have to embarrass yourself and get off moving plywood.
mm.
But that engine came, the double cylinder Rumley, came from Slater, Missouri. And at one time, a John Deere dealer had traded for it for a piece of equipment. And of course, steam engines were on their way out in the 30s and 40s. So this thing sat on the back lot of the John Deere dealer forever. And then your dad went and bought it and brought it down and fixed it up. And that was their main engine. I don't think that engine ever left the place.
Well, I don't know that he ever got it running.
Huh?
I don't think he got that double cylinder.
He had it running for, that's the one he had in the Veterans Day Parade. He got it running. I've only seen it run once. The other two engines, both these engines, of course, they got took to Platte County and then the Ag Hall of Fame. And you remember they had a hell of a time getting the engines back.
Almost didn't get him.
Yeah, from the Ag Hall of Fame. And that's when Larry and Floyd agreed they wasn't going anywhere else. They was just going to stay home. Because they almost, did they have to take them to court? They was threatening them, I know.
No, they didn't. I think this machine here is the one he done all the parades with up on the square. Not here. Because I drove, this machine come from Gun City. I drove that machine back from Gun City. Me and my cousin.
Difference, and very well be, because in those days, the reason I know that he had that one running for the parade, because he went to a lot of trouble. He pulled all the lugs off a mounted rubber so he could drive it on the streets.
Yeah.
And I think this one still got the lugs on it, don't it?
It's got the rubber lugs on it.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now. They're on the back wheels. They're all rubber lugs.
Yeah, this is the one that's been around the square.
Where? Yeah, yeah.
The other engine is a 22 horse Advance, and it's about a 1911. That engine came from Amoret, Missouri. It was sitting on a sawmill. And your dad and Larry went down there and looked at it. It was still sitting on the sawmill. This had to be mid to late 50s, too. And it was in such good shape, they put all the plugs back in it and drove it out.
Wow.
And
that was in early 50s?
Yeah, no, not, or I'd say mid to late 50s.
Mid to late 50s.
And so it's very local, too. Amoret, of course, is, 15, 20 miles west of Butler. And we got a member in our association that remembers that engine. He's from Amoret, an older man. So I got the name of the guy who owned that one too, but I'll have to look it up.
Well, tell me a little bit about your association, Bill.
We formed, of course, like I said, Larry and Floyd got me into steam engines. And they started that association in '76. I joined it when I was 12 years old. And I've been a member ever since. I never got into the steam side of it because I was a dairy farmer on a dairy farm. Mom and Dad were both raised during the Depression, so they didn't spend money on frivolous things like steam engines. But
But you came from a dairy farm, didn't you?
yes, I did. I grew up on a dairy farm.
And hard working.
We dairied until 2000. I had to have a knee replaced, my hip replaced, and rods in my back. And my brother had to have both knees replaced and his hips replaced. And we finally decided that was enough.
Yeah, just give up on that.
Yeah, I'll call you back. I finally didn't get involved in steam engines. I bought an old one, restored it. I got our steam program going down there. I think right now we're up to 12 full-size engines. We try to bring one back every year. I think I've been trying to disperse my collection to younger guys because I don't want to have an auction.
Sure.
I love it more than the engine itself. I love the story behind it. because history, you could have an auction. This stuff will disappear to four corners of the earth, and the history's gone.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
about it's gone.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's what's really cool about everything here.
everything here is
Everything
local.
here is local, and everything here has a story.
But you guys got the engines back in 1972, and they unloaded that Advance in 1972, right where it sits. And at that time, it had a small leak in the corner, which is common for an Advance. I've got one just exactly like that. It's just a couple serial numbers different. And it's sat there ever since. Uh, all those whistles and all that brass that came from the scrap yards in Kansas City, they were junking out all the steam engines in the late 50s. So Floyd would go up there when they was junking those engines out. And of course, all that was just scrap, and he'd pick it up for scrap price. Most all that, most all them engines have big fancy whistles on them, and they're locomotive whistles. They're not steam engine whistles. Uh,
So when you blow them, you really hear them.
do what?
When you blow them, you can really hear them.
Yeah, they're meant for 300 pounds psi.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, and they're really neat because I imagine we looked at them at one time. Most of them were stamped. Like I said, he's got headlights.
Here's a headlight off of a steam engine that they scrapped in
Yeah.
Kansas City, right there.
Okay.
I can't read that, but there's my
This
two
is
kids put Hall Inlore put labels on a lot of stuff in it, and time has there's a lot of it that's fallen off, and some of it you can make out, some of it you can't. There's Floyd and Mildred right there in that picture.
That's the history of the museum right there.
So we just have so much history and so much to share with you here on our little podcast. So we're going to take just a little bit of break, and we're going to come back and feature a couple of other things in the museum. So we'll be right back. This is Bill Cook, a little piece of heaven down Junction T and 7, about 4 miles from 71 Highway, just south of Clinton, or excuse me, just south of Harrisonville, on your way to Clinton, Missouri, on 7 Highway. Just a beautiful little scenery down there. We're about 30-some miles from Clinton, Missouri. Egg City is all about rural America, and it's coming in business. Now we're opening a visitors bureau here at Egg City, and that's coming really, really soon. I'm hoping that we'll kind of wind it up, sometime around October before the cold season hits. So you'll get a chance to come down and look in the museum. And we have the Atkinson Museum. We shot some video this morning about the old steam engines, and we'll be going back and adding more history. We're going to have a virtual museum. And so we're doing all this online. So you can pick it up later on. You can come down to the museum. You can look at all the things we're doing with about 15 different businesses here. Anyway, from Yaya's to Still Meadows to all the different things that's going on in rural America and things that's going on here on Junction T and 7 at that little piece of heaven. It'll be here in the kind of the visitors bureau. So as you're going down the highway, stop in, see what's going on, get all the information. And we are doing a lot of work with the Harrisonville Chamber of Commerce. We're going to have some videos and some YouTubes with them. We are hooking up with about 6 other Chamber of Commerce to give you just information on everything that's going on in this area that would be maybe fun for you to go take your family, just go by and see. A lot of history here in Cass County, all the way from the Civil War history and the burnt monument, all the way down to when we had the Roaring 30s and everything about the issues on the Great Depression. All those are really cool things. So just come down and visit us at Junction T and 7, a little piece of heaven, and we'll catch you on the turnaround. Okay, we're back outside now, and we're going to talk a little more about steam engines. And we've got Bill here, and Dale's going to kind of step in, and we're just going to chit-chat a little bit about some of this history that is just phenomenal to listen to. So, Bill, let's get you guys going again. And what is this one? Is this a double cylinder, whatever
Yeah.
you call it?
20 horse Remley, double cylinder. So I think it's probably a 1911, 1912. It was before the merger. They merged in 1913, both these companies. Then it turned into the Advance Rumley.
So these were two companies in competition, and they actually merged together.
Yeah. Advance never built any tractors. They just built steam engines. So when the steam engines started losing interest,
Sort of like when they started losing steam.
yeah. So they was going broke basically because they was one dimensional. And Rumley bought out Advance and Gar Scott, and they formed one big corporation, Advance Rumley, and then Advance Rumley eventually turned into Alice Chalmers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Okay.
I have a question. Which one of these machines have straw burning grates?
That's a straw burner.
They used to burn straw.
Right, right.
Yeah, well, see, the straw burner, you got an arch in there. If you're looking at boiler, this boiler, yeah, there's an arch that comes up like this, and then the flues are on top of that arch. That means that when you put the straw in there, it can't just spontaneous combust and go out the stack. It hits that arch, and that makes it burn longer. That little door on top, that's how you controlled your fire. That's a peephole. And you would look in there to see how your straw is burning. This would have a chute that came out, and it would just be like a big tin funnel, and the fireman would just continually shove straw in that funnel and push it in the firebox.
Yeah, because it wouldn't last long.
No, you had to do it. It was when the engine was running, you was pushing straw.
Well, there's a lot of BTUs in straw, though.
Yeah.
And it was good, but it wasn't as good as coal. What else did they use other than straw?
Buffalo chips.
Buffalo chips. Wow.
Anything that would burn.
Okay.
Yeah, anything that would burn, they would use.
Well, and Bill, while we were on break a while ago, we were talking. You were talking a little bit about the World's Fair, and you had a great story about this steam engine back on the World's Fair, and that's really cool to share with our listeners.
Well, we have a lot of historical engines down at Western Missouri Antique Tractor Association. We do have an 18-horse Gar Scott that was built special for the World's Fair of 1904.
Right.
It was built shorter so they could manage it in small places and load it on railroad cars and stuff be a lot easier. So it was built especially for the World's Fair. The man we got it from, his great-grandpa, showed up at the World's Fair, seen the engine, and wanted to buy it. Of course, the Gar Scott guy said, "You can't. It's not for sale. It's a demo. We can't sell it. I'm sorry, but we'll have to sell you another one." He says, "I don't want another one. I want that one." So they wouldn't sell it to him, so he wouldn't take no for an answer. So he goes down to the local telegraph office, telegraphs the chairman of the board of the Gar Scott Company, and says, "I've got cash in my pocket. I want to buy your steam engine, and your man won't sell it to me." So they text him back and said, "The guy's got cash, selling the engine." So he got it bought, but he couldn't get it until after the World's Fair was over. They used it for about, 15 years. Then they rolled it off in the woods, and that's where it's set.
Still down there.
Yeah, it's been there probably 70 years when this guy put an ad on Marketplace and put a little bit of the history about it. He said, "I'm getting up in age. I've got to do something with it. I guess I'm going to try to sell it." So I got in contact with him, and I fed him my pitch. You're going to lose the story if you sell it. So we worked out a deal where he put that engine on permanent loan to our museum. It is ours to keep as long as we keep it up in good shape. And we are right now in the act of restoring it.
So it's now in your association, and your association, is it in Adrian?
Yeah.
So, and tell us a little bit about your association.
Well, I'd say we was formed in '76. I joined it that year. I am not a charter member. I missed the first meeting because I couldn't get nobody to drive me down.
You was milking cows.
I was 12 years old. My dad was born in 1913. He was 50 when I was born. And he could care less about the good old days. He had lived them, and he'd had enough of it. So he did support me. I will say he always supported me, but he didn't have the enthusiasm that I did.
Yeah.
So I joined it. I bought an old F-20 tractor from Clifford Yoakum when I was 12. I had it running the next year. Then I bought an old 1530, got it running the next year. And there was a steam engine sitting down at the showgrounds, a Peerless, and nobody was running it. So I asked the owner, why ain't nobody running the engine? And he said he couldn't find no help. And I said, man, I would love to help run it. And I don't know if you remember Wilbur Fleming.
No.
He was a charter member of Platte County too. Wilbur was in his 70s when I was 15, but he was my best friend.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he took me under his wing, showed me all the ropes. The man did allow me to get that engine bought. As a matter of fact, how I got it bought, at that time I collected toy tractors because that's all I could afford.
Right, sure.
So he took my toy tractor collection in for part of it. I was still $2,000 short, which $2,000 to me might as well have been $30,000 because I didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom heard about it and she wrote a check and there we went. So I got my first engine. I restored it. I traded it and got a bigger engine, restored it. And then I was lucky enough that I was in with that generation that had worked with steam engines. And they took me in and I got a lot of engines by guaranteeing they wouldn't lose the story.
Sure. So
And
now, of course, we're going to wrap up here in just a little bit. But one of the things I want to do for before we do is if people want to come to one of your events where these engines are at, you have something on an annual basis. You have it once a year, don't you?
we have events we have a steam school every year.
So you have a steam school
We
and
have a
that's in
two-day
Adrian, Missouri.
a 2 day steam school. You show up, by the third day, you're going to know how to run a steam engine.
So how would somebody find you? Is there a phone
We have a
number?
Facebook page.
A Facebook page?
It's the Western Missouri Antique Tractor Missouri Association by Bill Furman.
Okay, we're going to say that slow. It's the
Western Missouri Antique Tractor and Machinery Association by Bill Furman.
By Bill Thurman, and that's in Adrian, Missouri.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for all those folks that will watch this and maybe want to come to one of your events or even come down and learn how to run a steam engine. So this would give them an opportunity to get that. Is there a cost for them to learn how to do that?
Absolutely not. It's all volunteer donation.
So what a deal. So if you want a little piece of the past, want to learn something and go back, well, I wouldn't say 100 years, but dang close to it.
Over 100 years.
Over 100 years, you could have a little piece of that history that actually you could carry on to your, whether it's your kids, your grandkids, your family, and capture some of the knowledge that Bill has accumulated since he was 12 years old.
Well, another local, not through, but another local. You remember the farmer's elevator that sat down on the bottom?
Yeah.
We had that steam engine that came out of there.
Oh, you do?
Yes, we do. They was tearing that building down, I think in 81 or 82, and that steam engine was still in the basement. And of course, at that time, Harrisonville had a huge boiler complex because the courthouse and everything ran on steam heat.
Yeah.
And that steam engine ran on off the Harrisonville steam heat and run the entire elevator. It's a big stationary steam engine. Anyway, we moved it, and it's in 1882. I think it's 1882 when it was built, and we got it set in the base, and we run it every year.
Wow, that's good. Well, as we kind of close up here today, Bill, is there anything you'd like to share that, or Dale, anything you guys would like to share with people that are interested in STEAM, are interested in all the things of the past and how agriculture worked and what our old folks did to kind of make a living? Is there anything that you guys would like to share?
Well, I can tell you one thing. You, John Gelati, I've pretty well told him everything I know about it. And what I don't know, he's learned from my two girls.
Yeah. So as we go on, this is just the beginning of the Atkinson Museum, virtual museum down at Little Piece of Heaven at Junction 10-7. That's about 5 miles from Harrisonville. Beautiful scenery going down 7 Highway and agriculture. A lot of folks like Bill here with lots of knowledge. If you get a chance, to come down 7, stop by the Visitors Bureau. Again, a little piece of heaven at Junction T and 7. We're just about 4 miles from 49 or 71 on your way to Clinton, Missouri. When you go at the lake, you want to stop and have a good time, meet some people, stop by there, and we'll certainly take care of you. Thanks for watching our podcast today, and we'll be back with some more information on the Atkinson Museum as history goes forward. See you on the turnaround.